So in my last couple videos, I've been talking about depression, not only what depression is like, but also how we become depressed. In this video and in the next one, I'm going to be talking about how to actively combat depression and how to deal with it. So in the next video, I'm going to be focusing more positively on how to heal your broken spirit. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to cope with a broken spirit. Because one of the main things that you need to know about depression, whether it is depression caused by something external, which I called in my last video grief, or it's something that's internal, meaning that there's just something biologically wrong with you that causes you to go through depressed states. But regardless of how you became depressed, one of the main things you need to learn how to do is you need to learn how to accept your state as being depressed. One of the worst things you can do is reject that. So many people, especially when it's like their first time of being depressed, what happens is they get into this vicious cycle where they become so depressed that they're depressed. So the more depressed they feel, the more depressed it makes them. And it becomes this really, really horrible cycle that they get into that they can't get out of. Especially since when they get into the state, they're so used to being happy and positive and optimistic. Now when they've lost all that, they try their best to get out of it. They try to watch happy movies. They try to listen to happy music. They try to go to parties and be around a lot of people. And that makes them even more depressed because the more time they try to be normal, the less they realize they can be normal. And that just grieves them to the core of their being. It's kind of like, if I use that metaphor or analogy of, depression being like having a broken spirit, it'd be like someone having a broken foot and then trying to walk on it. Right? You trying to walk on it, you trying to be normal when you're not normal is going to make you worse. You have to learn how to accept the fact that you have a broken spirit, but that it's not going to be your state forever. Even people like me who struggle with depression because of something internally wrong with them, you're not always going to be depressed. You're going to go through cycles. Yes, you're going to go through cycles of depression, but you're also going to go through cycles of happiness and joy. And you have to learn to be able to accept that yes, I'm in a cycle of depression. Yes, I'm in a season of sadness, but this season will not last forever. It will end. But I need to learn how to be faithful with the season that I'm in, as opposed to always craving the season that I'm not in. To be okay with being depressed is such a huge step that you can take. Now, I will warn real quick for people, especially like me, people who have been depressed for a long, long period of time, what can end up happening is you become so used to being depressed that you actually prefer it. And so because of that, when you become depressed, you feed it, right? You actually start to feed those emotions and you start to feed those thoughts of thinking like, yes, I am really worthless. Yes, life really is meaningless. Yes, everything is dumb and it doesn't matter. And you can try to see that you're going to make those thoughts far worse, and you're going to be able to be way more depressed than you were at the beginning. You have to learn how to accept your state without encouraging your state. Depression is a bad thing. Having a broken spirit is a bad thing. We should never think of it as a positive. However, we should also never think of it as something that just needs to get out of our lives. We have to learn how to live with it. So the first thing that you need to learn how to do when it comes to living with depression is you have to learn how to take care of your body. Not only your body, but your life as a whole. Because when you become depressed, you lose will, you lose vitality and emotional strength, which are the keys to being able to do anything. You lose drive. So because of that, what I've seen for myself and with other people who struggle with depression is they stop taking care of their bodies and they stop taking care of their lives. So they stop eating properly, right? They stop sleeping properly. They stop hanging around people. They isolate more. They don't take care of their personal lives. They stop paying their bills sometimes. They stop going to work sometimes. They stop working on their marriage. They stop working on their house. They let their house go into disarray and chores just start to pile up. Now the issue with this is that if you let things like this happen, number one, your body has a profound impact on your mind. If you stop taking care of your body, your mind will deteriorate along with it. You have to take care of your body. Secondly, if you let your life deteriorate, you are giving yourself an endless list of reasons to continue to be depressed. So if you stop taking care of your life, your depression will never go away because you're going to constantly have reasons to be depressed. You're going to look at your life, you'll be like, man, look at all the problems I'm having now. Where do I even start? Where do I begin? You know, you're going to look at your finances and they're a mess. Maybe you're going to be about to be let go from your job. Maybe your relationships are falling apart because you're not taking care of them anymore. And maybe you're looking at your house and you're just like, I don't even know what to start, man. Maybe I should just burn this place down because there's just so many chores. There's just so much stuff that I've allowed to go into disarray. You have to take care of yourself during your depression, and you're not going to be able to wait for the time where you're going to be motivated to do so. Meaning that in normal circumstances, you get a drive. You're like, man, like I want to take care of my house. I want to clean something today. Man, I'm craving this. I want to eat this, right? That's normally how your life goes. When you're in depression, that's not going to happen. You're not going to crave anything. Everything's going to sound bad to you. You're not going to want to do anything. Everything's going to sound hard and difficult and like it's not going to be any fun. You have to learn how to do things even when it doesn't feel good, or maybe even especially when it doesn't feel good. So for breakfast, make sure you're having a good breakfast, right? Don't snack throughout the day. So many depressed people, they snack on unhealthy things throughout the day, and then they don't sleep well. In fact, in Psalm 42, the psalmist who is struggling with depression, he says this, "My tears have become my food both day and night." What it means is he's not eating and he's not sleeping, right? You have to learn how to wake up. And again, breakfast really is, it's a cliche, but it's true. Breakfast really is the most important meal of the day. Wake up and have a good breakfast. Have something like eggs, have something like toast with avocado on it, something with peanut butter, maybe a protein smoothie, something with a lot of fat content and a lot of protein, good fat, by the way, and good protein that's going to be able to get you through the day. Don't skip breakfast. Don't eat something sugary and small like a Pop-Tart or a bowl of cereal. You know, you have to have something with sustenance in it because that's really going to help your state. Also, take care of your body in the sense of exercise. Try to work out at least 2 to 3 times a day. Now, you don't have to go to the gym or something like that if that's not normally what you do, but you know, try to go on a walk. Try to do something small, because not only will you need to be able to exercise, but you need sunlight. Vitamin D is key in combating depression. You have to get outside. I know for myself, I need to get at least half an hour of sunlight every day if I'm going to be able to combat my depression. And yeah, when I go through rainy seasons, like right now where I'm living, we got the monsoons coming in, there's going to be a lot of rain. I know I'm going to go into a period of depression, and I could already feel it. But I need to learn how to still force myself to go outside and try to get as much sunlight as I can, because if I don't, my depression will become much worse. Write a schedule for yourself of things to do in the house. Just be like, hey, today I'm going to take care of the bathroom. You know, I'm just going to clean the bathroom. Tomorrow I'm going to clean the kitchen. You know, just try to do one thing a day. Don't overwhelm yourself, but come up with schedules. Force yourself to do these things. Go to work. You know, you got to get up. You got to get dressed. You got to do things. And also, even on the weekends, try to shower. Try to get dressed at least once a day, because aimlessness and the feeling like your life is meaningless is one of the key components to depression. Learning how to get up and be like, no, I have a purpose. I'm doing something today. That is absolutely key. Shower, get dressed, go do something, do errands, do what you have to do to take care of your body and your life. It's really, really vital to combating depression. And that also leads to the next point. People who are depressed don't like hanging out with other people, right? You want to isolate. The reason why you want to isolate, and you'll usually come up with loving justifications. You'll be like, man, I don't want to bring anyone down. I'm not exactly that fun to be around right now. I don't want to depress other people, right? You're going to have these thoughts go through your head. It's only natural. However, you need to learn how to be around people, because isolation is one of the things that attributes to depression. So the more isolated you become, the more depressed you're going to become. So whenever people would invite me somewhere, I had to learn how to say yes no matter what I was feeling. I'd be like, man, I got to be around people. I got to be able to be around friends. I can't isolate, because that makes me so much worse. Now, I will warn, especially if you're like me, who's more of an introverted person, try not to go to large settings, meaning that I'm not talking about like church or anything like that, but I'm talking like party situations, right? Like to large parties where tons of people are going to be. That actually might make you a little bit more depressed, because there's so much going on, you can't actually connect, because what you really need is you need connection, not just being around people. It could actually make you more depressed if you feel like you're surrounded by people but still feel entirely alone, right? So having those times to connect with people is going to be key, which also means not only trying to hang around people in general, but especially try to hang around people that you could be honest with. Another key component to depression is social anxiety, right? Feeling like people don't understand you, that they don't know what you're going through. That shame of depression is crippling. So in your head, you're going to be like, man, like if people knew I was depressed, they wouldn't want to hang around with me. They wouldn't want to be around me. Let me put it this way. If you were hanging around with someone and you said to them, man, I'm really going through depression right now. It's really tough. I'm thankful that you're here, but just know that this is what I'm going through and that's why I'm acting this way. If that person responds by saying, what? You're depressed? That's horrible. I don't want to be around you. What a bummer. You're going to bring down my good mood. If that's the way that someone reacts to you, if you're telling them that you're depressed, that's not a good friend. And it's probably not someone that you want to hang around with anyway. But ultimately, you don't really have, and neither do I, we don't really have a whole lot of people in our life that would respond that way. That's a fear that's in your mind. It's something that you've created that's not actually true. Try to find those people in your life that you know you're close with, you know that they love you and they care about you, and share with them what you're going through. Just be like, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. Can you pray for me? Can you just hang out with me and talk with me? We don't have to talk about my depression, but I just need to be around somebody right now. I need to connect with someone right now. I feel so lonely. I feel so isolated. Please, can you just be around me right now? That is going to be absolutely key to your growth with depression as well. Not only that, but again, it will help you fight those thoughts that you're alone and that no one understands, because now people do understand. They are listening to you. They are hearing you out. They are praying for you. And they may even be able to share their own depression with you, which will help you even more. Right? I remember a little bit ago, I was listening to this song that was kind of depressing. It was about being alone. And in one of the comments, it said, someone said this. They said, I was going to take my life tonight, but after listening to this song, I realized that I'm not the only one who feels this way. Now, the song wasn't hopeful at all. It didn't have any optimism or positivity in it whatsoever. It just described what it was like to feel absolutely alone. Now, the thing is that just the idea that there was someone else out there that understood what she was going through was enough to keep her alive that night. That's incredible. Right? Learning how to talk to other people about what you're going through is going to be really key. Again, you don't just go over to them and just whine and complain all the time, but share with them really what's going on in your life. And then try to, like I said, connect with them in whatever way that you can. Isolating will only make things worse. So leads to my final point, and one that I'm going to spend the entire next video talking about. Learn to fill yourself with truths so that you can adequately combat the lies that you're going to experience. When you're depressed, you will become your own worst enemy. I guarantee it. All right? You're going to think things that you've never thought before. Not only about yourself, but about others. You're going to think horrible, nasty, evil thoughts towards other people and towards yourself. And if you can't learn how to combat those thoughts, they will take over you and they will destroy you, right? So learning how to say like, hey, I may feel this way, but that doesn't mean that it's true, right? That's what's going to save your life. That's what's going to keep your depression from absolutely conquering you. And in the next video, I'm going to get a lot more into detail about how to do that. But for those of you guys who are going through depression right now, if you have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments below. This video was not intended to be some exhaustive thing where I go through everything about depression, everything that you can do. It was supposed to just give you a basic foundation for beginning to cope with your depression. In my next video, like I said, I'm going to be talking more proactively about what you can do to begin healing your spirit. But again, remember, it's a process. You have to learn how to be in the season that you're at. And if you're depressed right now, that's the season you're in. And it's not a horrible season to be in. It's one that many of the biblical authors have gone through. They wrote about it. They struggled with it. It's one that I've gone through for much of my life. And many other people are going through it as well. Learn how to be honest. Learn how to be authentic. And that's what's going to enable you to be able to combat things and to be able to grow from them. Right? So see you guys in my next video. But until then, I hope you're doing well.